Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Dadstractions podcast. This is episode 20. I am Brian Netzel, and with me, as always, is Leonard F. Chikaris. And Leonard, it has been a whole week since I've spoken to you. How have you been, sir?
My mouth is dry.
Your mouth is dry?
Yes.
Maybe you should drink some lemonade.
The mouse died. I thought you were going to retort with.
I should have replied with the mouse died. That would have been appropriate.
For shame. No, it's been busy. We took Asa to Dutch Wonderland this weekend, kind of a spur-of-the-moment trip.
Mm-hmm. I saw some pictures.
Right. We had a good time. Never been to Dutch Wonderland. I know we've talked about that many times on the show, that I
never go
did
anywhere.
Not get out. Right, I did not get out much as a child. If we did not have free passes ourselves, we probably wouldn't have gone. I think the normal admission price is like $30-some for adults. And kids 3 and under are free.
That's crazy talk.
That is crazy talk.
That is, because that's not like any big shakes, right? That's no great shakes to an amusement park. It's like little kiddie rides.
It's mostly little kiddie rides, as you can hear. Okay.
You clicking around and typing into the interwebs?
Oh, boy. No, as I go onto their website, it's got like a MIDI that plays in the background.
Oh, no, I couldn't hear it.
All right, good.
Maybe our audience can, but I can't, thankfully.
Yeah, so it's actually $35.75, ages 3 and up.
Next time you feel like throwing that kind of money away, just give it to me. I'll take it.
Right. Well, no, we had free passes.
Right. I'm saying in case you decide you want to go back.
If free passes end up in our hands again, we'll definitely do that. But no, we had a good time. Ace had a good time. It's all, it's mostly very kiddie rides. Lots of spider webs on the rides, and I don't think that's an intentional motif.
They might have been getting ready for Halloween. It is season.
I think those spider webs have been getting ready for the last 3 or 4 Halloweens. There's a train that goes around the park. He enjoyed that very much. There are like little tiny kiddie rides, and what a difference like 2 months make. We had taken him to Knoebels, and they have the section. I think Dutch Wonderland is smaller than Knoebels.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, to put it into perspective. So there was all kiddie rides there, and he was excited for the kiddie rides, and then was like, okay, buddy, you have to go on this by yourself. Like, Daddy is no way going to fit, and Mommy can't fit, so you have to go on this by yourself, and he didn't want it. But this time, 2 months later at Dutch Wonderland, like the same, more or less, kiddie rides, he was all about going on by himself. He had a great time doing the little things, and he was just loving it. And they had face painting at the park. And, you've been to a place and you can get face painting. They have all sorts of, like, generic designs and, Bat Hero or Spider Kid. It's slip it in under the wire, close enough to Spider-Man, but not Spider-Man. So he sees a bunch of kids with Batman. He's like, Batman mask, Batman mask, Batman mask. He wants to get his face painted. But we both knew that he had no idea what this entailed. He does not like having his face touched. He, when he's in the tub and there's bubbles on his face, he freaks out.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't like having my face touched, so.
Right. So we're like, he is not going to sit still for this. There's no way. And if you saw the pictures that we had put up, he sat still for about half of the painting. Mm-hmm. Once they started getting close to his eyes, he freaked out. Luckily, they were nice enough not to charge us.
That was nice.
We would have been, that was very nice. So he went around for the rest of the time at the park with a half Batman mask, but still was very happy to have his half Batman mask.
It looked okay to me.
Yes.
It looked like you could tell what he was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And it's free. Free's good. Tickets for the park were free. Face painting free. Get anything else for free?
No. We did what we did.
Tetanus for free?
Tetanus? No. We don't know. He's been sneezing all day, so maybe he's sick.
Is he licking the bouncy castle again?
No. So that was, that was our Sunday. Saturday was just trying to get stuff done around the house. And then, we have the open house in 2 weeks. Next weekend. So how was your week? How's your week?
My week was okay. I think that when we were recording last time, Kim had already left for her cruise.
Oh, that's right. She was sailing out from San Pedro, and they were sailing around the Panama Canal.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my.
Thanks, George. No,
Yeah.
as I said last week, my wife does Disney travel, and she was going on a cruise to quote-unquote train for her job. And this was so she can learn more about Disney cruises and she can speak knowledgeably about them to folks who are looking to utilize her services. It's all free, so she don't pay her anything. It's all Disney that pays her. So she does that and gets commission and et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, she left for her cruise on Wednesday. Things were really good with the kids on Wednesday. They came home. They did their homework. I checked the work that they did. They went out and played. Came in. They had a nice time. We didn't have any issues. Thursday was slightly less idyllic. And then the same for Friday, probably a little less than that. There was maybe some light issues, nothing major. But by the time Saturday rolled around, I was glad to see my in-laws roll into town so I could go to my boss's wedding on Saturday night. And boy, howdy, that was a good time. There was it was about an hour away, and I stayed overnight in a hotel by myself, like a big boy.
Wow.
And I went stag to the party because my wife was on a cruise in international waters. And everyone was like, "Where's your wife? Oh, where is she?" And I was like, "Oh, she left me,
Hey, chop liver, where's your wife?
Yeah, exactly. She left me, and then well, where are the kids? I'm like, "Oh my God, the kids!" And no one thought that was funny. And the place that they had the wedding was beautiful. It looked like an old Tudor type style cottage. It was very nice night outside, it had been disgusting humid at the end of last week, and it cooled off nice for the wedding. And we just had a really good time. Cigars were smoked, drinks were had, memories were forgotten. I'm sure other memories were made, but most of mine were forgotten. And then I managed to actually wake up in the morning on Sunday and pull myself out of bed and came home to reality again with the children and the in-laws. And that was my weekend. My wife showed up on Sunday evening, and it's been kind of standard family life since then. So, sir, have you watched any of the new television shows this week?
We watched the first half of How I Met Your Mother. Did not know it was a double episode. So we did not get a chance to watch the full episode. I do have S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel's! Exclamation point. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I just call the show S.H.I.E.L.D.
I didn't realize that there was an exclamation point. I knew it was Marvels.
No, I'm making a joke.
Oh.
Yes.
I do. It says Marvels in the beginning of it, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that there was not an exclamation point. So you didn't watch that?
No, I didn't get a chance to. It was just on last night, Tuesday night. That's when I record the Weekly Long Box podcast. I worked 9.5 hours today. Came home, got home at 6:30, ate dinner, got the baby ready, gave him his bath. We watched a little bit of Cars, because that's what he likes. We put him to bed, and now we're doing the show. So it was virtually impossible for me to get a chance to watch anything.
No excuses.
No excuses.
My kids went outside after school today, so I was able to slip it in then. And then I watched Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly. No, again, I don't, when he's outside, we usually are out there with him. Obviously, he is much younger than your kid.
I would hope
so
you're out there with him. Jesus.
Right. No, if it was up to him.
Asa. Go ahead. See you later.
Oh, no, believe me. If it was up to him, he'd be out there running around by himself. Self is his favorite thing to say. Self. He can do everything by himself.
Yes.
So was S.H.I.E.L.D. good?
S.H.I.E.L.D. was enjoyable. There was plenty of references not only to the Avengers, but also the Iron Man 3.
Oh, cool.
And nothing outside of those things, though. There was no references to any other Marvel characters. Now, it might be also because they don't have... I mean, they're working with Marvel, so you would think they'd have the license to use whoever they wanted to, but I'm guessing also in the beginning they wanted to stick closely to the events of the Avengers and Iron Man 3. Something from Iron Man 3 plays a big piece in the pilot.
Cool.
So, very enjoyable. Agent Coulson is back. He's, running the show. and Colby Smulders shows up for a few minutes in the beginning, and I don't know if she's a regular, because I know she's also still doing How I Met Your Mother, but since this is the last season for How I Met Your Mother, I would hope maybe they were able to bring her on to S.H.I.E.L.D. full-time. Or not this season, maybe next.
I know she was supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
And I think what's going to happen is, because I think the way that the season for How I Met Your Mother is going to work is that she's only going to be in some of the episodes, not all of the episodes, so her shooting schedule is much, much lighter. And I'm sure if this continues beyond half a season or 2 seasons, she'll probably appear more often.
On S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay.
On S.H.I.E.L.D., yes.
We are behind on How I Met Your Mother. We're a season behind.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for it to show up on the Netflix so I can start streaming them last season, and then I will somehow find this season's episodes in order to stay up with it. It's not on Hulu.
No.
Hulu does not carry current CBS shows, so I will have to find some way to find those episodes. Maybe I can find a friend who will record them for me and provide them to me, or I'll just find them on CBS's website and stream them from there.
There you go.
I will not download them illegally, because that's illegal.
Right.
So
and admitting to it is even worse.
Yes, that's not smart, especially on recording, where 26 to 50 people will hear it.
Oh, now see, you're not supposed to talk about how many people listen to the show. You're supposed to act like hundreds upon thousands do.
That was a low end estimate.
Oh, okay.
So other shows started this week, or started last week. I just ended up seeing them this week. I know you don't watch New Girl, but we watched the first 2 episodes of that. I know that's beneath you. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your limited amount of time, so I understand.
No. Again, the premise of it, I can, I don't know, whatever. Zoe Deschanel, she's cute enough.
The writing is pretty funny. I'll give it that much, and the acting, like the delivery, is really good from all the principal actors. It has definitely gotten better since the first season. I thought was really good. Last season sometimes was hit or miss, but I'm hoping for good things for this season. So far, the first 2 were pretty good. There is a show with James Spader that started on a Monday.
Ultron.
What? No.
He's Ultron in the upcoming Marvel Avengers 2 Electric Boogaloo.
He is, really?
I think so.
He seems too old to be Ultron.
Do you even know who Ultron is?
Yes. He's a jive-talking robot.
I wouldn't say he's jive-talking, but yes, he is most certainly Ultron.
Wow. The voice of Ultron?
It just says Ultron.
Defender of the Universe?
No.
Oh, that's Voltron.
That's Voltron.
So anyway, James Spader has a show called Blacklist, and we started watching the first 20 minutes of that. And while enjoyable, Kim had Jimmy legs, and we needed to go to bed.
Jimmy legs?
Jimmy legs.
Okay.
Restless leg syndrome, otherwise known as Jimmy legs. So, but the first 20 minutes was really good. I really enjoyed it. There was some weird one scene that was really out of place in it, but the rest of it was very good. And I know there's a couple other shows that we're going to try to catch. Kim really wants to watch Dracula.
I saw some production stills for that, and just the production stills of the lead actor made me think to myself, no thank you.
Well, that's why Kim wants to watch it, because of the lead actor. He apparently was in The Tudors, which is a big show that women like, apparently, or liked. Also, goth nerds like it. I don't know. So, and then there's the Sleepy Hollow show, which we might give a chance to.
Now, I heard that was good. But that one is going to be difficult to fit into the busy schedule.
Right. It just seems so, grim and Once Upon a Time, and they were just like, oh, we want to horn in on the Fables action, since no one has actually brought Fables to the screen yet.
What?
Because people hate Fables, apparently.
There's 2 shows that completely ripped off Fables.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
saying Fable. I said they wanted to bring another show to the screen because no one has actually brought Fables to the screen yet, and nobody know. So the people who watch television don't know the joy of Fables and why it should actually be a television show. They should put it on HBO though, not on ABC. It should be on something where they can stretch the legs a little bit. So that looks okay. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. And I'm sure there's some other crap that's on somewhere around the line, but I can't remember anything right now.
Our schedule is very light. Nothing new, of course. We've got, as mentioned, How I Met Your Mother. We're going to give S.H.I.E.L.D. a try. That's our newbie for the season. Wednesdays is Modern Family and It's Always Sunny, and I think that's it.
Yeah, Modern Family. I forgot that was on. I'm guessing that starts this week. So you'll enjoy S.H.I.E.L.D. I guarantee that you'll enjoy it enough to at least watch some more of it. I can't tell you what the rest of it's going to be like, but it was definitely enjoyable enough to keep watching it for now.
Gotcha.
We'll see if it's constantly the same formula. I don't think it will be, since it's Whedon, right? He's involved.
I think he was just heavily involved in the first episode, not so much in the rest of it, but I'm sure his watchful eye is involved.
Yeah. So I think if Whedon is involved, I think it'll be good. I always liked Whedon shows for the most part, the ones I've seen. So I think that it'll do just fine for us nerds. What else, sir?
Did you get a chance to watch This Is the End?
No, I didn't.
I did not get a chance to watch World War Z, and with the TV season starting, I am not going to be able to watch World War Z anytime soon.
No, I was. I know Kim was gone. I just had other stuff to do. I just didn't get a chance to. I don't know if you saw my stupid pictures in my Twitter about the computer I'm trying to resurrect.
Yeah, I saw those earlier in the week. Sure.
Yeah, I'm still trying to resurrect it. Basically, I've been trying to install Windows Vista on a computer for a week.
That sounds like a waste of everyone's time.
Basically, I want to create a media server for the home. I have my desktop, and it's got a 1 terabyte drive in it. I got a 1 terabyte backup, and a lot of it is full. And I just wanted to offload this stuff from my main computer to a different computer. Now, I've been building my own computers since 2000, sometime around there, 2001 maybe. And ever since then, whenever I build a new computer, I give my old one to my mother. And then when I build my new computer and give my old one to my mother, she gives her old one to my brother. And so basically one of them ended up boomeranging back to me because my mother decided to buy her own. So I have the one I have that I'm using right now, my desktop in my office, I built this when we first moved to Ohio, so 2007, so it's six plus years old. The one I got back from my mother added another 5 years to it, so it's roughly 11 years old. And it's got this computer's got a duo core or a quad core in it. I think it's got a duo core in it. The one that down in the basement now has just a single core. It's a Pentium 4. It's super old. It should be enough to run things, but for some reason it's taking forever to install the updates for Vista. Like, it takes forever because the Vista was so terrible that there were so many updates for it that it's taking forever to do it. And it's got 3 or 4 320 gigabyte drives, so it has over a terabyte in it. And once I have it up and running, I'll just be able to offload any recordings from the show or any other movies or videos or television shows or anything I have off into that server, and it's networked into the rest of this, the network. So I can just pull it from there instead of wearing out my main hard drive. That's the whole reason for it. And it's something to do because I like, screwing around with computers. It's just that for some reason it is taking forever to download those updates. And your phone has more power than the computer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But that's what I like to do in my spare time, is totally screw myself over and waste my time.
That definitely. Well, it is toward a greater goal, of course. You do have something planned to do with all of this. Whether or not it is going to pay off in the end is another story.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I wasn't able to watch that movie, because I was too busy trying to install Windows for a week. Mm-hmm. So, what else have you been up to? Anything?
No, the baby's, Ace is doing his things. He's, we're still working with the peeing on the potty. Mm-hmm. I think I mentioned in last week's show, I'll mention it again. We're in a pretty good routine, and he's pretty good with letting us know. We're at the point where it's just he wakes up in the morning, we get him out of bed, and we put him in front of the potty till he goes. If he doesn't go, he doesn't go. But like first thing in the morning, we put him there. Whenever he goes down for his naps, we put him in front of the potty. When he's done eating, we put him in front of the potty before he goes in the tub, and when he gets out of the tub, and right before he goes to bed for the evening. And more times than not, he goes. Still haven't gotten poop yet. He's gotten to the point where now he hides when he has to poop. He like runs away and hides somewhere, so he's not doing it in front of us anymore because we know what he's doing. So now it's just the time of like, he does pick very opportune times to run away.
Meaning?
Like I was trying to hook up the antenna on Sunday when we got home from Dutch Wonderland. Mm-hmm. That did not work because I'm not technically savvy in the least. It was a failure, but it's okay. It's there. So while I was getting that out and I was preoccupied, he ran, hid behind his crib, and pooped his pants.
Kids like to run and hide and do that.
Right. So he's not even 2 yet. The fact that he's willing to go pee on the potty is a plus. He was getting up earlier than he normally does the last couple days, earlier in the week, but I think it's just because of the crazy temperature that we've had here. It's been getting down to like the 30s at night.
Yeah, same here.
And then jumping right back up to the 70s in the morning. So I think that's playing a lot of it in why he hasn't been sleeping good. But the last 2 days, he slept perfectly, through the night. He doesn't get up during the middle of the night hardly at all. And then usually he's good to sleep to about 20 after 6, 6:30-ish. But he had been getting up like 10 to 6 a couple days. Yeah. What do we have going on this week?
Well, hold up. Let's go back to your antenna.
Oh, yes.
What happened there? Did you get a full-blown external antenna, or did you get just like...
Yeah, the external antenna.
Oh, okay. And you couldn't get it to stand up? You couldn't get it pointed in the right direction? What happened? There's like the 2 prongs that come up, and then there's like the circle gimmick in the front. Sure. And all antennas are different, but yeah.
Right. So you plug it into the TV. You have to go into the menu on the TV because if it's a cable-ready TV, you have to change it over from cable to antenna. Yeah. And then you're supposed to move the ears on the antenna. Put it on one of your favorite stations above 20, and then play with the antenna ears until it comes in, and I don't have 9 hours to try to figure that out because I spent about an hour trying to do it and it just nothing.
I wish you told me that when you were buying the antenna. I would have tried to look something up for you or something because is it a multi-directional antenna? Do you know?
Yes.
It's as long as you point it in the right direction, you shouldn't have to screw around with ears or anything like that. And it's external or it's internal. You're saying that it's not outside the house, right? It's
inside the house.
It's on top of the TV or by the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a even though it's multi-directional, if you point it sometimes you get one that's one that you should try to point it towards where the stations are coming from. There is a website called Antenna Hub that if you go there and you put in your street address and your zip code, it will show you a direct line from your address to where the stations are located, and it will tell you what the signal is like, and it will tell you what degrees to have your antenna facing. So I actually had to just do that this past weekend. The kids were screwing around with the antenna and they moved it. So all I had to do was go and get my I had to go into Antenna Web, found the degrees on the compass that my antenna should be pointed at, and just got a compass app on my phone and readjusted the antenna.
See, already that sounds like a lot of work. What's the website?
I'm pretty sure it's called Antenna Hub. I'm pretty sure that's where I went. It should be find stations or something like that, and then you put in your address, your street address and stuff. Now, if for some reason your
Antenna Hub looks to be a place that's very busy to buy.
Oh, Antenna Web. AntennaWeb.org. As soon as I typed antenna into my browser, the rest of it came up. AntennaWeb.org, people. If you're looking to drop off of cable, go there. They have some information about antennas and other things. So check that out, Leonard, when you get a chance, or right now if you'd like. And They might even...
I'm playing.
They might even suggest a kind of antenna. The antenna I bought was a directional antenna, but it was like a wider range directional antenna, and it had some kind of like a backing on it that was supposed to help catch the rays from catch the signal. And I bought it from Best Buy for like $60 or $70 2 years ago. So it's worked pretty well.
Now, see, mine was very cheap.
Yeah. And the antenna web will also tell you how far away you are from the signals. And depending on how far away you are, you may need an antenna that can pick up, because that's what I had to do. My signals were coming from Cleveland, which is like right on the edge of the cheapy antenna range. So that's why I went the next one up. That was a little more expensive.
I just sent you the link to the antenna that I bought.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, that one. If you look at it, it might tell you like how far out the signals can get to get to it. You may need to buy one that's a little larger. That's all. Okay. I mean, it's a good investment just because think about how much money you were paying for cable. You're going to use 1 month's worth of cable to buy a really super good antenna, and that will help you not be angry at your antenna any longer. Because I went through 3 different antennas before I found one that worked. So, and I bought them, but the first one from Amazon, and I sent it back. I'm like, I don't want to pay for shipping again. That's the only reason I went to Best Buy for the second one.
Yeah, see, most of them say that they're 4 miles.
Oh, really? Well, then, if that's the case, it might be because you're in a low-lying area with a lot of buildings around you.
It says I would need a small multi-directional antenna.
All right. Well, screw around with it a little longer. I don't know. Like I said, I bought one that I knew I could point towards the signals, and if I don't have it pointed towards the signals, I'm SOL. Like, my TV really is bad. You can't really... I have to have it pointed towards it. That's why I got the one that's like... It's omnidirectional, but it has like a wide range where it picks it up better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, see, this is... Yeah, it's much, much different than what I have. It looks like I'd have to get one that's like in the $50 to $60 ballpark.
Yeah, that's what I know. That's what how much mine was. So, but like I said, you were paying probably more than that for cable, right? A month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally.
So just that 1 month purchase of the antenna. I know oh my God, it's an antenna. I shouldn't have to pay that much for it. But think about it this way: if you purchase it and it doesn't work, just take it back to Best Buy. They'll take it back.
Yeah.
So you could always buy it and then take it back, and it won't be a problem.
Now, see, this one, yeah.
I know this is thrilling.
It is thrilling adventure hour. Yeah, so I see what I got to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Next week, make sure you check back in and let me know how it works.
I'm probably not going to get a chance to do it. Probably not anytime soon, because this weekend I have work. April's parents should be home from their trip. Everything went well. Her father's recovery from the heart attack and the surgery have been very good. He is still in a lot of pain. They had to break his ribs to get in to perform the surgery, but they are on their way home now. I think they're in Columbus, actually.
Ooh.
That's in Ohio, right?
It is.
So that's where they are. They claim that they're going to be home by tomorrow at the latest, or, tomorrow late. We're going up to see them on Saturday when I get out of work, and then Sunday I have wrestling in a delightful, scenic Boonton, New Jersey, and April is taking Asa to go get his 2-year pictures done.
I know Boonton.
Yeah.
Scenic, indeed.
Scenic Boonton, right.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to mention was that this, today that we're recording this, Wednesday, this was the first time I had work. Excuse me. I had work Wednesdays. April is off from work, so she is, home with the baby, taking him doing all of his things, taking him to the park, all that sort of jazz. And while he was at the park, and then while he was home eating lunch, he was very sad because I was not there. And that is the first time that he has done that. Been sad and wanted me. All the time, he wants my wife.
Right.
He wants April, and I don't blame him. When I'm home alone with him, he looks for April. Where is she? Looking for her car. Where is she? What's going on? Today was the first time that he's like, Daddy's not here. Daddy's not coming. And he was sad about it.
Did the sad Hulk music play when you walked out?
No.
Do, 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 do.
It did not.
Do, 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 do. Okay. Well, that's good. At least he likes you.
Yes.
And he wants
For now.
He wants you around.
Yes. Now he likes me.
Yeah.
We'll see
Take it when you can get it.
I will.
So, Leonard, you reached out and asked some questions on the Twitter machine and asked people to respond and say, hey, is there something you'd like us to talk about?
Yes. And Jason Kirk, Jason S. Kirk on the Twitter machine, he actually was at Baltimore Comic-Con this past week. He and Todd passed like ships in the night. He had asked the two of us, what is it that got each of you into podcasting?
That's a very interesting question. I will let you go first.
All right. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts for a very, very long time. I would say at the very least since 2006-ish.
You were early on that.
I was an early adopter of podcasts, and then it's just grown and grown and grown.
Hipster.
Discovering. Right.
Hipster.
Don't paint me with that brush. Don't call me a hipster. That's the worst insult anyone could pay to another person. So, in doing the shows, I'd find podcasts about horror movies. I'd find podcasts about wrestling. I'd find podcasts about comic books and so on and so forth. And either the number of comic book podcasts was few that I liked, and all the time, we would be at the shop, myself, Todd, and DJ would be there, and, every Wednesday would be at the shop, and we'd always have very interesting conversations about stuff. And in my head, I'm like, this is a podcast. This is a podcast. We need to get this organized. We need to get this together. People will listen. And it started out with the three of us. We were just doing it, and it kills me. It kills me to this day that just recently, one of my favorite podcasts, even though I don't get a chance to watch very many horror movies these days, I still listen to this one horror movie podcast called Dinner for Fiends on the Dread Central website. They don't do the podcast very often, but when they do, it's a big podcast. They cover pretty much every horror movie that's come out since then. It's a fun podcast. I like it very much. But only this year did they start not doing it as calling into a conference line, and where it's just everyone over the phone with their horrible connections. It's just like within the last 3 episodes that they start actually using Skype like we do to record. So that's what we did at first. We just all called into this conference call. It's like freeconferencecall.com. I used a really cheap, lame hosting site for the podcast. I don't even know if it was up on iTunes or if it is on iTunes or was on iTunes. And we would record Friday nights. And I, at the time, was married, and DJ had a girlfriend, and Todd is a jet-setting wild man, Ric Flair style, limousine riding, et cetera, et cetera. So it was eating into all of their times. DJ quickly dropped out of the show. Then it was just Todd and I, and it got to a point where Todd's like, well, we don't want it. It's like, well, we did it for a year. I think you were even a guest on an episode, yes?
Yes, a very infamous episode.
A very infamous episode of the podcast. So I did that, and one of the things that if you listen to podcasts, everyone's like, hey, keep the lights on. Hey, sponsors this, and so on and so forth. And, I reached out and tried to get some sponsors, and nothing really worked, and the podcast went away. Through wrestling, I got to know some people who do a multitude of podcasts under the Grizzly Network Productions. There's, sports podcasts, pop culture podcasts, trending topic podcasts, and then just kind of the general hodgepodge podcasts. And they were looking to extend their network into comic books. From my friendship with people there, they knew that I was into comic books, and it was right as, I think, April was 8.5 months pregnant. So I said, hey, I'll be very happy to do this podcast. However, the baby is going to be here any day now. And I don't want to get things situated and then all of a sudden I have to take a break because the baby's here. So let's wait for Asa to get here. Let's get settled in, and then we'll start it up. And they're like, perfect, no problem. So it started from there, and we were back to doing our old show, Todd and I. And as things progressed, we started to get sponsors for the show and started to get paid for the show. And even before we got with the Grizzly Bear Egg network of shows, you know, Todd and I talk comic books. We talk all sorts of nonsense. At the shop today, we were talking about Pop-Tarts for like 20 minutes. And my hate for certain comedians. And it's so funny now because we have the podcast talking about comic books. We don't talk a lot about comic books at the shop. We talk about everything else in the world. But yeah, I just enjoy talking about stuff. It's a way to get a lot of thoughts in my head, whether about comic books or life in general, out. And it's kind of like an Etch-a-Sketch when I'm done. I just like shake my head and it's all gone.
You like to talk?
Yeah.
Not you, Cisco.
And now, while I like to talk, I don't like to listen to myself. I've been guests on other podcasts, other people's wrestling and comic book and all sorts of other different podcasts for a variety of reasons. And it's podcasts that I listen to and podcasts that I'm fans of, but I will not listen to the episodes that I am on.
You should really do that so you can hone your craft. You are a paid professional now.
These are craft and paid professional, huh?
Yes. You're getting paid for your work. You should listen and hone your craft. Anyway, that's a very interesting story. I wondered how you got picked up by Grizzly. I was unsure about how that worked. I wasn't sure if you went to them, they came to you, but that's a good story, sir. Thank you. I, on the other hand, first of all, sorry, let me go back. You said that you talk about everything under the sun with Todd, and that is partly what this is for me with you, because for anyone who's been listening to the show for any amount of time, you know that Leonard and I have been friends since junior high. We used to see each other pretty much on a daily basis for a while there, and then even when I was in college, we kept in touch. And it was a lot closer then. It was only like a 2-hour drive. I'd come home a lot. He'd come out to see me at Penn State. And then even when I was out in Jersey, it was only an hour and a half drive, and we see each other very frequently. And then I abandoned him and moved out to Ohio. And,
that is correct.
And it was very difficult to see one another. Sure, there's emails and texts and Twitters and whatnots and phones, but it's still the face-to-face thing or the lengthy conversation is very hard to come by. So now I have a weekly appointment to speak to my best friend, and you guys all get to listen in on the stupid crap we talk about. But what really wanted to get me into podcasting goes all the way back to my love for radio to begin with. I went to Penn State for journalism, for broadcast journalism. I mean, that's not what I went there for, but that's what I ended up with. It was my second choice, and I've always loved the radio. I've always wanted to do stuff in radio, even when I wasn't going for journalism or broadcasting. That's what I always wanted to do. And in my senior year of college, prior to that, I had done a student radio station thing where I went on for a little while. But my senior year of college, I went to one of the local radio stations and said, hey, do you have, I'd like to do some radio. I'm a senior in broadcasting. I know how to work the board. I know how to run carts. I know how to cut tape. I could do production. I could do on air. Here's some stuff I've done for the news channel stuff that we had. And they're like, well, we don't have anything, but we have you could be an intern. I'm like, oh, I'll do that for whatever. I'm only going to be in the college area for another year. I'll get whatever I can. I'll come on board. They're like, sure, you can do the morning show. Then they introduced me to the guy who was doing the morning show, and I was like, oh, cool. And they said, all right, come back next week. All right. I come back next week, and the guy who did the morning show was fired, and it was two new guys in there. And I ended up interning with these two new guys who were obviously brand new to the morning show. And I did that for about 7 months. I was on a morning show on a 50,000 watt station in the middle of Pennsylvania. It was a actual commercial radio station, not a college radio station. And ever since then, I've just wanted to do radio again. I never really got back into it. That's what I wanted to do. And then when I graduated from college, it was like, well, time to get a real career. And I've been working at the same job for the past 14 years, and I never really got back into radio. And I keep listening to these podcasts, or Leonard would talk to me about podcasts and about certain ones, and I'd go and listen to them. I'm like, you know what, I could do this. I have a background in radio. I love editing. I like to talk, as Leonard said. And, but I didn't know what niche to do. I started that, my parenting kind of / my life, blog. And it just seemed like a natural extension of it. Like, I get those posts. I feel I'm a much better orator than I am a writer. I prefer to speak than write. I do enjoy writing, but I much rather just vomit on the microphone. And that's where we came to now. In fact, this is a good question. I just am in the midst of starting another podcast with...
Oh, really?
Yes. This question was not a setup. It just happened to be perfect timing, because this person doesn't know that I'm doing this. The gentlemen that I used to do my morning show with, we've all come back together, and we're doing a podcast together.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So that's much further along then?
Yes. We threw the idea around about a month ago. Myself and the actual host of the morning show, his name is Jared, and we were going back and forth. I'm like, hey, I kind of got this now. I kind of know what I'm doing. We can try to do this. And he was like, oh, I'm all up for it, because he actually did a podcast a couple years ago that focused on comics, but also did pop culture stuff. I believe you had listened to that a few times. And the guy, I think they had a falling out, and he kind of got out of it. But he'd love to do it again. So I'm like, well, let's do it. We can do this show. And he's like, well, let's bring back the other guy, the other intern from the show. His name was Ian. We were the last 3 people standing when the show got canceled in February of '98. There had been 2 other people that had been in and out, but we were the last 3 standing. We felt that our show was the strongest anyway, even though we got fired. And it's good to be back with those guys. And we had a long time of not speaking to one another, not like purposely, just fall by the wayside. You don't get a chance to talk to one another. And this is another good way to kind of reconnect. So we believe the name of the show is going to be The Prodigal Sons, or just Prodigal Sons. We have one in the can. That's what I've been editing it all day yesterday and part of today, because there was a lot of just stuff that just came out about just it was supposed to be our origin story pretty much, but the origin story went about almost 2 hours. So I've cut it down to about an hour, which I still feel is very long for a opening episode, but there's nothing that can be done for it. I don't know how else to edit it down to only a half hour. So it's probably going to be an hour long. We're still looking to find a place to host it, but once we do, it'll be up, and then we're going to start recording on Mondays. And we'll go from there. But I will definitely promote it some more once we get on here. It is not about parenting. It is more about pop culture and television and movies, and about like I said, our origin stories and stories that we have from our time in radio and our time just after that. So that should be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
You will hear it, sir, prior.
All right.
I'll get your expert ear, since you're a paid professional.
Mm-hmm. Paid professional. Your story of the radio reminded me of my story of my radio days as well.
Yes, I completely forgot that you did a little college radio yourself.
About 6 years after I was of college age.
Yeah, but you still did it. I mean,
right.
But I mean that had to have helped you in this and got you the bug for it.
Yeah, you know what? And that's the thing is, I look back at my life when I was younger, and I had, in high school I had very little direction. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And if you told me, 17, 18 years ago when I was in high school that I'd be doing now what I am doing now, I don't even know if I would understand what that is,
Mm-hmm.
I should have pursued a little bit more heavily broadcasting stuff.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
So that I'd have that to go forward with. But I was very dumb and naive as a kid. Like, on the flip side of things, like my involvement in the world of wrestling, I did not get involved in the world of real wrestling. And by that I mean, what I did with, essentially where I met my wife was a small promotion called BCW in Wilkes-Barre. It was essentially backyard kids, if you know what backyard wrestling is. There's been lots of malignment of that, who were doing backyard wrestling inside of a building. And for what it was worth, it was what it was in 1999 and 2000. It's where I met my wife, and I think, we can hang our hats on that's the only good thing to come out of that. But if I knew, and that was 2000, that ran till 2001. It was another 4 years before I got, involved in what I'm doing now in wrestling, an active role in the world of professional wrestling. If I knew that you can get into wrestling when I was 16 or 17 or 18, I probably would have done that.
Right.
Obviously not as an in-ring competitor. I'm not an athletic person or a physically gifted person in any stretch of the imagination. But, the role that I have now in professional wrestling, I would have been pursuing that in 1993 as opposed to 2005.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. And that actually... and that's what because that's what you have a passion for, and that's and what I was saying before about orating or speaking. I did all that theater work in middle school and high school, and I did a couple things in college. I love acting, I love speaking, I love all this stuff. So this was why, even though I went to college for architectural engineering, if you can believe that.
Good job.
Yes. I ended up in broadcast journalism major and then not using it at all. So I have this voice. I want to use it. I have a lot of opinions, and I like to talk about a lot of things. So this seems like a perfect way to go, since there's no way I was ever going to be back on the radio, and radio's dying for the most part, unfortunately. This is a single-person radio. Good times. Not single person as in not married. I mean single as in one individual broadcasting out into the blackness of space. And just to hear their own voice sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. So my foray into radio was very late as well. So yeah, I think now that when the time comes and Ace is in high school and it's like a freshman or a sophomore in high school and he kind of has an idea with what he wants, I think it's easier in this day and age to hey, I want to be a so-and-so. Well, I can look up online and see what that entails.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different world today than it was 17 years ago, 18 years ago when we were doing this.
Back in our day.
Yeah.
So we did also have another question on the Twitter machine. Now, this was actually not from this evening. This was a question that was posed late last week that I never got a chance to answer. So I apologize to David Kincannon at DWKII. DW Key? I don't know. He asked, what is the piece of music that opens and closes the Dadstractions podcast? Now, I knew going into podcasting that some people like to put a open and close little not a bumper, but something to open the show with. Unfortunately, if you use commercial music and then you try to make money from your podcast, there could be issues. So I went to some Creative Commons music. If you don't know what Creative Commons is, or stuff that's in the public domain. So not Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday is not in the public domain, I don't think. But there's lots of older music that's in the public domain. So if you want to use Hooray for Hollywood is in the public domain, stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't have you don't need a license to use. You don't have to pay to use it. But Creative Commons is also a kind of a license where up-and-coming artists or people who just like to create music put it out there, and they say they have different levels of what the Creative Commons licenses. And if I find one that just says, "Oh, I want to be," just attribute the song. That's what I was looking for. And I just happened to find this clip. It is by an artist named Kara Square. The name of the song is Ants! Exclamation point. So the exclamation point comes back around. It's Ants! Exclamation point. And it's on ccmixter.org. If you look that up, or you look up Kara Square, you can find the song Ants. It's like the first 20 seconds of the song looped.
CC Mixter what?
ccmixter.org. And you search for Kara Square, KARASQU.
When you say CC, are you saying like CC dot Mixter?
No, CC Music Factory,
Right. And then MIXTER?
Yes. ccmixter.org. So that's where it's posted at.
And that link's not working, but all right.
Well, I just sent you the link. I don't know why it's not working for you, but that it does exist. I've also it's been on the site for a while. At the very bottom, though, it's in the footer, so people may have missed it. It does on the Dadstractions website. I do have the creative license or the Creative Commons little attribute there that says Dadstractions podcast intro outro courtesy of, and then it's got the link to that song on that site because it's the least I can do for the opening 20 seconds and closing 20 seconds of the show. Will I ever change the music up? Maybe. I don't know. Is it now iconic and relates directly to the podcast? Doubtful. But,
Possibly.
Possibly. People hear that at the beginning and opening, like, oh, time to turn off everything else and tune in. You got to hear them. Those two doobies from... doobies. I don't know where that came from.
Wow. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I meant to say dweebs and doobies came out. Those two dweebs who were on the radio machine talking at you. So... yeah, so thanks for the question, David. That is the song. You can actually get to it, like I said, from the footer on the website. I believe David is into music of some sort, so maybe he's looking to use it for something. I'm not sure. But there it is, and thanks to Kara for having that music out there on Creative Commons. I really appreciate it, and that's it for the Twitter questions. I actually asked a Twitter question last week. I didn't ask you yet. I think you've only seen 3 movies this summer.
Yeah.
So which was your favorite out of them?
Iron Man 3.
Seriously? All right.
Yeah, I liked Iron Man 3.
Not The End of the World?
World's
End. Sorry, World's End.
I liked Iron Man 3 better.
Oh, man. I felt Iron Man 3 was... I don't know. I was hard. It's probably better than 2, but I didn't think it was as good as 1.
No, listen, hey, I understand that I'm in the minority on this one, but I liked Iron Man 3. I like Iron Man.
So, of course, if we're comparing it to the rest of the movies of the summer, then sure. We're not.
Oh, yeah.
We're not comparing it to the rest of the movies of the Iron Man series.
No.
I'm saying I immediately went to compare it to the other movies, but I should have been comparing it to the rest of the movies of the summer, is what I was saying.
I saw Monsters University. Monsters University was good. Not groundbreaking or anything, but it was still good.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that. I know Iron Man is definitely better than World War Z, so that's good.
Well, again, with the fall season starting up, I'm not going to get a chance to watch it.
I know. So. Don't worry, you're a pretty little head about it.
I'm not that worried about it.
So, folks, earlier in the podcast, we were talking about antennas, and you know what perfect place to buy an antenna is?
Where's that, Brian?
Through Amazon. That's where I bought my first antenna from. Unfortunately, I had to send it back, but you can send things back very easily to Amazon. It doesn't cost much more to do it, and especially if you have Prime. Prime is really good because you get the free delivery to begin with really quickly. So if you need that antenna like in a day or two, you just buy that. And if you have Prime, boom, it's on your doorstep in like 2 days, and you can be watching antenna television as quickly as 48 hours from your purchase. So you can actually go to the website. It's dadstractions.com or bealittleweird.com. You can click on the antenna link, the Amazon link at the top of the page, and you can purchase anything through Amazon. It'll be the same exact price as it normally is. We just get an advertising fee that helps to help support the show. It helps to host the website. Helps to buy a URL so I can do another podcast, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. You know what I'd really like to end up getting? I'd like to get an arm for my microphone.
Oh, yeah?
So you don't hear this when I, bang on the keyboard or something like that. You wouldn't hear that any longer because the microphone wouldn't be on the desk. and I think it just gets the microphone out of my way. So if I ever actually make enough money off the Amazon link, that's probably going to be one thing I buy.
Well, I'm not going to buy an arm. Sometimes what I do, like right now, Brian and I have the same microphone. I set it on my stomach while I sit here and we talk.
That's disturbing.
Yes.
I'm glad that we're not doing a video podcast.
Oh, no, goodness, no. Okay. I am, if you want a title for the episode, Face for Radio is pretty much sums up both of what's going on with you and I. So, yeah, I just recently got Amazon Prime, lots of good video and stuff on there. It pains me, and this is not a knock on Amazon Video or any of the other streaming services. Sid the Science Kid.
Yes, I am very aware of Sid.
Right. Asa loves Sid the Science Kid.
So did
it is
Christopher and Sam loved him also.
Yes. It is not available on any streaming service.
Mm.
It is not even available. Full episodes are available on the Jim Henson Productions subscription YouTube site.
Boo.
Exactly. So, and like you can stream them through pbskids.org, but it's not full episodes, it's just clips of episodes.
Wow. They really got that on lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess they need money to make more Muppet movies.
I guess.
So, yeah, folks, go check out the Amazon link if you do. If you buy something else, we didn't have any purchases this week, but I know that you guys do support the show. I appreciate it, and thank you very much. If you'd like to reach us, you can reach us on Twitter at bealittleweird.com or at lfjacarson. Also via the email machine at bealittleweird@gmail.com or lfjacarson@ymail.com. We appreciate you listening. You can reach us at any time. We will be glad to hear the feedback about the show, and we'll answer any questions you have. Sorry for the delay there, David, in answering you. I just figured it would be good to answer you on the show. That way I know I have one built-in listener. And I think that's it for this week, Leonard. You got anything else to add?
No. If you're going to the Wrestling is Respect show in Boonton, New Jersey this Sunday, say hi.
I certainly will. Oh, wait.
Not you. I mean everybody else listening.
Okay. And next week I hope to have an episode of Prodigal Sons live and ready. Again, it is not a parenting podcast by any means. It is not clean.
I was going to say, is there salty language?
Oh, there is certainly stuff that would make a sailor blush. Again, I need an outlet for that stuff, and I don't have it any longer. So there is some foul language on that show as of right now because, that's how we roll, I guess. And but that's it. I'll have some more information about that next week, and hopefully I'll have an actual website and a link, and it'll be up somewhere doing something. Folks,
right.
Have a good week.
Yeah, all right. Take care. See you next time. Thanks for listening.
Take care.